Okay, so this chat is going to be about digital influencers beyond the buzzword. Let's see here. That's me. I'm Hallie Harris. I am the managing director of Epic Signal. Epic Signal is a social media agency. Shameless plug, follow us at Epic Signal. Today, I wanted to talk to you about digital influencers. There's a huge debate as to whether it works or not. In my opinion, like every advertising strategy, execution is key. So today, I'm going to cover off on some best practices that I've learned over the past 10 years and highlight some of the easily avoidable pitfalls that have given this medium a questionable reputation. In terms of establishing a little bit of credibility for myself, why the heck should you be listening to me up here? We service about 30 plus Fortune 500 brands, including Miller Coors. We launched the first ever influencer hosted content series in partnership with Amazon. We work in partnership with the White House. Since we're in New York, I think I'll tell you that that was with the former administration. So here we go. Can you name all these influencers? Yes, no, maybe so? I'm gonna speed dial you through a couple of slides dedicated to a few influencers and show you a couple cool stats. So for those of you that are in the audience that haven't quite adopted to believing in influencer marketing, I'm going to bring you over to the light side before I dive into some best practices. So that's Logan Paul. As you can see, he's got a total reach of about 32 million. By comparison, the Oscars this past year had 32 million viewers. That's Lily Singh. She has about 23 million in reach. By comparison, there are 9 million people who watched season 6 of the Game of Thrones season finale. The next up is Ryan Higa. He has a 26 million reach. Sunday Night Football averages 22 million viewers per week. Next, Jenna Marbles. Are you guys going along with these names? You know them already? 28 million in reach. The 2017 season premiere of Modern Family had 8 million viewers. Amanda Cerny, know her? 25 million in total reach. It took 3 days for Orange is the New Black to get almost 7 million viewers to watch it. You can do that in a video or two with Amanda Cerny. So the point is that influencers like these guys that I've kind of run you through really quickly, they've turned what was once a hobby into a multi-billion-dollar business. And companies like the New York Times, 60 Minutes, are covering the space, Fast Co, Fortune, et cetera. Everyone's interested in the money making in the space. Is it working? Is it not working? How is it working? There are award shows and conferences like the One Show that are dedicated to influencer marketing. In fact, fun fact, the One Show this year for the first time, and I worked with the CEO of the One Show, Kevin Swainpole, if you guys know him, we helped him convince the board to make influencer marketing an official awards category. So there is a massive movement towards not only believing in influencer marketing, that it works, there's a lot of money going towards it, but there are a lot of businesses that are being born and birthed out of it. Hence, people like, I'm sure you probably know Fullscreen and Maker, but also CAA and WME. Where there's money, those agents want to represent that talent and take a cut. So if I haven't convinced you yet, here's kind of what some consumers are saying in the space about whether or not influencer marketing works. So studies show that 92% of people trust recommendations from other people over brands. Teens have a 7 times higher emotional attachment to YouTube stars than to traditional celebrities. I assume some of you actually read the Variety article that came out several years ago that listed the top 25 celebrities according to young millennials. The people at the top of the list were Jenna Marbles and PewDiePie. It was not George Clooney. It was not Julia Roberts. It was not Leonardo DiCaprio. It was not Gigi Hadid, who I love. And 49% of people rely on influencer recommendations when they're making a purchase. And that is rely as in trust. So what do marketers care about? Obviously, marketers care what consumers think and feel and want to tap into that. But what's something that I can tell you if you're coming in here from the brand perspective, why you should be considering influencer marketing? First up is, this is a big one, influencer marketing programs receive an average $6.85 in earned media value for every dollar of paid media spent. More bang for your buck. Second, 47% of online consumers use ad blockers. Why does that matter to me as a brand? Well, that gives brands and businesses even more reason to put their dollars behind the influencers instead. Make sense? According to recent Nielsen data, influencer marketing is currently more effective than traditional advertising. And Nielsen actually cited two different contributing factors. The first one was true user engagement and the halo effect, meaning the endorsement of a product acting as word of mouth endorsement of the brand. A recent survey revealed that 84% of marketers plan on executing at least one influencer marketing campaign during the next 12 months. Therefore, it is no surprise that we ought to be talking about influencer marketing best practices, because if 84% of the industry is doing it, let's help you do it right and get that bang for your buck. So kind of like I said at the top of the talk, like any advertising strategy, execution is key. So now I'm going to walk you through kind of top 5 key best practices to help you ensure that your influencer marketing plans are a success. The first one is influencer marketing is more than paid media. So let me tee up this next video, actually that I'm going to play for you. A good example of influencer marketing being more than paid media is a campaign that our agency worked on called It's On Us. I don't know if you guys have seen it or if it's kind of come across your desk, but It's On Us is a campaign to help stop sexual assault. 1 in 5 women are sexually assaulted in college, primarily between their freshman and sophomore years. And so we created a campaign that puts the onus and the ownership on good people, the 96% of people who do not commit these heinous acts versus the 4% of people who do. And there were 3 phases to this campaign. The first phase was to drive awareness. Take the pledge that if you see something that's happening that's funky, you should stop, intervene, go say something. The second one was awareness about you need to get consent before you sleep with someone. Because if you don't get it, you don't get it. And then the third phase was about taking action. So actually intervening. Even if it feels awkward, you don't know those people from Adam, go over there, say, hey, are you okay? So those are kind of the 3 phases of the campaign. So to draw really mass awareness of the campaign at the start, we had a celebrity PSA. And then we put paid media behind it, and then we had some influencer marketing as part of it to help drive awareness. But my purpose that I'm trying to drive to today is that influencer marketing is more than just paid media. So as part of that third phase of the campaign to drive people to intervene and actually take action, as well as we were trying to hyper-target college-aged millennials that would take action, we thought it would be best to use influencers as the stars in the video, as well as the distribution platform, and as well as driving signups and generating awareness of the audience. So you get all 3 of those components with one influencer marketing campaign rather than celebrity plus paid plus influencers to drive awareness. Does that make sense? So I thought I would show you a video of our influencer marketing public service announcement around this campaign.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can
get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates, our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can
Intervene.
It's on us.
all of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
So the campaign was quite a success. I think there's a little bit of a lag into the next slide. Give us 1 second. The campaign generated over 3 billion impressions. We got over 10 million views of the PSA. And that kind of leads me to, you can't just think of your influencer or your influencer marketing campaign as solely paid media. You also have to have an integrated approach. So it's not simply about checking that influencer box. Hey, I'm a brand. Hey, I'm whatever. I'm going to do an influencer marketing campaign. Check, check. But it's really about weaving together and coordinating a strategic web of content that speaks from the influencer's platform to the brand's platform. And there has to be an underlying strategy to that as well. Should I be working with micro-influencers? Should I be working with mega-influencers? Is this a one-time stunt? Is this a longer-term engagement? So you need to have an integrated approach, a strategy, and influencer marketing is more than paid media alone. When we talk about strategy, that leads me to my second best practice, which is bigger is not always better. So with bigger is not always better, I showed this slide to my boss and he said, yeah, the ad industry is filled with star fuckers. By the time someone's popular enough to be on the front page of Ad Age or Ad Week or be on the radar of some 50-year-old creative director, they're probably not even cool anymore. He said that, I didn't. But that's the truth. There's an unprecedented number of channels that you can be working with and content that is created. You can get the exact right creator at a significant scale for virtually any interest or vertical. Fun fact, there are over 15,000 channels on YouTube that have over 50,000 subscribers. So to that point, identifying influencers is both an art and a science. It's not about getting the biggest influencer all the time. We used Casey Neistat in that It's On Us commercial. It was pro bono. But it's rather about reach, engagement, relevance, and production quality. So the opportunity for your brand is huge to find the right people that are relevant, that can produce something that is meaningful and reflects your brand and reaches your target audience. Let's see here. Next slide. So this is just kind of like a sample criteria that we use when we're working on behalf of brands, and I thought I would share this, but essentially we want to recruit and onboard influencers who embody the brand. And we set this criteria in 3 key areas. Demographic. Is their audience on par or on point, rather, with your brand's target audience? Engagement. So a lot of people are really kind of obsessed with the glitz and glamour of so-and-so has 7 million subscribers. I don't care. I want to know what their engagement rate is amongst that target audience. I'd much rather work with someone with 1 million subscribers who has a 10% engagement rate than a 7 million subscribers with a 1% engagement rate. Thirdly, brand. So finding creators within the brand's verticals like tech, sports, fashion, determining the general sentiment of the content on their channel. Does that jive with your brand? Is this going to be an appropriate fit? The third is, so my third best practice is endorsements, not integrations. So simply put, I think this is really interesting, but just like you wouldn't create a display ad for one impression or a commercial for one airing, you should never approach influencer marketing as a one-time mention. Consumers respond to continual brand mentions from those that they follow in a way that is unprecedented by any other advertising method. So if there's one thing that you take away from today, it's you should never approach influencer marketing as a one-time mention. In my opinion, there are a lot of brands that are starting to get into the influencer marketing space, and they're kind of dipping their toes into the water. Let's test this. Let's do it on a 1-month basis or a 3-month basis. I really believe that gone are the days of, campaign-based influencer marketing. Influencers are craving a longer-term business opportunity, and they want to be able to provide their audience with consistent and authentic content on a continual basis. That naturally integrates your brand in ways that make sense with their current content use and their current lifestyle. So it has to be a natural fit. One of the ways that we did this, and let me tee this up for 1 second, is by creating actually that headline from the previous slide. So Mountain Dew launches first brand-owned MCN with Dietrich's. So there's definitely a stigma about multi-channel networks, but we created the first brand-owned multi-channel network that was kind of based off of this premise. So the idea and thinking behind it is that we can supply creators with production funds over a longer period of time. The example would be if I paid Dietrich's, $100,000 for one video that's a branded piece of entertainment content on behalf of Mountain Dew, that's a one-off. If I sign him up to create 10 videos over the course of a year, I hope I can get him at $50,000 per video. So $500,000 for 10 videos versus $1 million. So there's money to be saved. It lowers your CPV. It increases the effectiveness of your campaign. It helps the influencers create a longer-term partnership, which is what they're wanting. And if you are doing what I was saying, which is making sure their audience and their lifestyle jives with that of your brand, then it's a perfect fit. In the case of Dietrich's, when we were down to the final, last negotiating point, he said to me on the phone, "Hey, can I get bottomless Mountain Dew? I want a pallet of Mountain Dew, and whenever I get to the bottom of that pallet, I want it to be replenished." And I thought, you got yourself a damn deal. That's exactly the type of partnerships that we want to have. He authentically loves this brand. And especially in the case of Dietrich's, his fans have rallied around him. Since the early days, he has said, Mountain Dew is my dream brand to work with. And so they celebrate this partnership because it is true to who he is. So, okay, that was my long-winded introduction. So I want to walk you through, this is just a case study on our work on the multi-channel network with Mountain Dew. It explains what an MCN is, if you're less familiar with that, and some of the creators we've signed and some of the success, which the numbers are a little old. It's going up. You can play the video now.
Are talents such as Dominic Dietrich Sandoval, the most popular dancer on YouTube with more than 4 million subscribers. Grayson Boucher, also known as The Professor, the largest streetball channel on YouTube. And popular skateboarders and gaming creators like Josh Katz, Nigel Alexander, and Dyrus. Bringing the combined total social reach of the MCN to over 30 million engaged millennial fans. Mountain Dew collaborates with Green Label influencers throughout the year to create content and awareness around their largest campaigns like Dewcision 2016, a contest series created to add one of Dew's most popular flavors to their permanent product lineup. Dew Tour, the brand's action sports event series, and the Super Bowl. Mountain Dew sees a number of benefits by forming long-lasting relationships with creators, including providing a new revenue stream, economies of scale, category exclusivity, and even eliminating third-party management fees. The Green Label MCN benefits YouTube creators by providing long-term contracts, production capabilities, and digital rights management. The result of the Green Label MCN has been overwhelming. In less than a year, we've generated over 260 million views, 30 million views of Mountain Dew branded content, over 1 million social media engagements, including likes, comments, and shares, and over 1 billion impressions. The Green Label MCN has paved the way for how brands should work with digital influencers and has created a sustainable advertising platform for Mountain Dew to engage millennials and generate revenue for years to come.
up for an award tomorrow night. Fingers crossed. Let's see if this goes to the next slide. Wait, one more. So just to kind of drive my point home about the opportunity for a business, and I'm going to use this laser is so awesome. I've never had one before. This is so amazing. So what an influencer needs, they are craving credibility. They even don't really want to be called an influencer because they are the celebrity of today. They want to have a longer term relationship. They don't want to be on like Bumble for brands, dating a million different brands throughout the year. They want a long-term partnership. They want early access to products. They want to be in the know, like every human being. They want content production resources because they care about creating engaging content that their followers will love as much as you, the brand, does. And when that is at the intersection of what the brand needs, I need someone who can produce something at low cost, yet keep the quality high and have speed to market and perhaps even have exclusivity in the market, a la a celebrity endorsement deal. I need authentic messaging. I need credibility from trusted sources to share my brand message out into the world. There's a business partnership. Those things all work together. And so there's a way for everybody to kind of have a win-win scenario. And so that's what we did on the Mountain Dew MCN. And it doesn't have to be an MCN. If there's one thing you walk away with today, from me, I would encourage you to think about forging longer-term relationships between brands and influencers in a more meaningful way than a one-off. So if you treat your influencer partnership as an endorsement and not as an integration, you've all of a sudden forged a business partnership, which is essentially a relationship. And that is why, number 4, collaboration is key. So brands often struggle with allowing influencers to use their own voice. Yes, a lot of brands do a ton of market research to get to their brand strategy, to their campaign strategy, to develop the key phases of their campaign, to concept. And that's all really great for the brand, but not necessarily for the influencer. When I think about collaboration is key, I think about the fact that the relationship between influencers and their fans is akin to a friendship. So if you change the influencer's voice too much, it's like a friend coming up to you and just lying directly to your face. And we don't want to do that, right? Additionally, it's important to remember that brands and influencers are essentially working towards the same goal, which is something I touched on the last top best practice, which is they want to create great content that engages the audience and motivates them towards action. It's a shared common goal. So that's the good news, and that's why collaboration is key. So you don't want to try to tailor the voice or the audience perception of an influencer to fit your brand. You have to think of the influencer as a trusted resource. They've made it in this space. So the best way to do this is to provide some guidelines and welcome the influencer to grow and develop their own strategy and their voice around your brand. When you do so, both sides will see greater benefits. So a few ways in which we do that. We like to host influencer summits, especially if it's a longer-term relationship. We will say, hey, at the top of the year, we're gonna host a cocktail party for Skinny Girl Margaritas, and Bethany Frankel is gonna come, and it's gonna be a ton of fun. It's gonna be an all-day event, and we're gonna talk to you about our brand messaging, our brand philosophy, our big bets for 2017. You're gonna sign NDAs and not tell anyone you know. And they're gonna feel loved and appreciated and like an extension of your family and your brand. And what happens at these summits, even though they're not contractually obligated to be posting anything, is something like this. Cezanne Hendricks, she loved her experience at our summit and she posts on Instagram. And so we just get over deliveries and extra exposure of our brand just by making them feel welcome and a part of the fold. So that's one really, really great tool for kind of helping with collaboration. Another one is a brief. And this sounds pretty obvious, But I'm going to walk you through several steps of the brief, and our briefs are usually, 50 slides long, so this is really summed up simply, but this is a brief for Athleta's Power of She program, and this is kind of beautiful, so I'll read it to you. It says, this is the day we stand up for standing together. We commit to putting an end to undermining, living on the healthy side of competition, lifting our fellow sisters, realizing our limitless potential. Alone we are strong, united we thrive, together we create the power of she. It's a pretty powerful mantra. And with that, we actually highlighted the program mission. Okay, so we're going to ignite a movement. This is what the mission of the program is about. The goal of the program is to actually drive a following to Athleta's Instagram account. And then we had a ton of content on post requirements, visual guidelines, which this is actually a visual guideline, which is important for you to note. Hashtag and tagging strategies, copy suggestions. We basically served everything up on a silver platter for the influencers so that they could take the information that was important to the brand, hit the nail on the head in terms of brand messaging and visuals and copy, all of the above, but tweak it into their own voice and in a way that they know and were confident would work for their audience. And the end result of that was this. Looks really similar to that, right? That means we did our job. Additionally, I think under the heading of collaboration is key, it's important to remember we're not just using the influencers' channels as a distribution platform. There should be some type of activity that's happening on the brand's channel as well. So how are we receiving this? If social media is a conversation, what is happening on the brand's channel to mirror the activity that's happening on the influencer's channel? Even if your goal isn't to drive followers from one channel to the other and it's just simply awareness, there's an opportunity to be driving and cross-pollinating audiences, and it's one not to be missed. So that should be worked into your legal documents. Okay, and then don't stop there. So we are having a ton of success with influencer marketing. I think that Epic Signal in particular is kind of pushing the boundaries. The next level of influencer marketing, in my opinion, once you are kind of treating influencer marketing as a longer term arrangement, is to not stop at the influencer's distribution platform. You need to use media to intelligently distribute the content that's created by these influencers. So you need to find other people who will trust the content produced by these influencers and support that content. So something that we talk about all the time is the funnel, right? So there's awareness. In the middle tier, there's conversation being generated about your brand, and then as you get down to the bottom of the funnel, there's conversion. So what if you're working with influencers over a longer period of time and you are creating awareness-driven content? We just want to simply make them aware of our new product. So I'll give you an example. We're working with a company called Whistle Dog Tracker. Super cool company if you haven't heard of it yet. It's like Fitbit for dogs. So they put a tracker on the dog and they're able to measure the dog's sleep habits and diet habits. And strange fact, but on July 4th, that's the #1 day that dogs run away from home. And that's because they get afraid of the fireworks. And so if you have this dog tracker, you're able to see where your dog is. And it's kind of awesome. And so what we are doing with them is we are trying to generate awareness of their product at the top of the funnel. And so we have a paid media strategy to support the influencers' awareness content. And then we have a paid media targeting strategy where we are retargeting the people who have engaged with us at the awareness level when they are conversing with us. And then when we convert them, the influencers are creating a different type of content. So it's not just about Oh my God, did you know that dogs, run away on July 4th because they're afraid of the fireworks? By the time we hit December, it's now that you know all about this product and its characteristics and what it can do for your dog and give you peace of mind, you should go and buy one at Christmas or Hanukkah for your friends and family. So we're converting people through the funnel by utilizing really smart, strategic, and creative content that's being produced by the influencers at all levels of the funnel and supporting each of those phases with paid media. So that's why you shouldn't stop at just the influencers' distribution platform. So just to recap, influencer marketing is more than paid media. Bigger is not always better. Endorsements, not integrations. Collaboration is key, and don't stop there. And that is all I have for you today.